This week's universal principle is we create our own world. We create our own world. Don't make a new belief system out of this. I think there are some complicated things going on. For example, when I say we create our own world, that means there is a part of it that you are responsible for creating, but there is also a collective influence that we are all kind of participating in, whether we like it or not. We kind of buy into it. For example, our government entities are set up, when a lot of people believe in one thing, it creates what's called an egregore, which is kind of like an archetype in a way. An archetype is something that's true forever. It's not something that can be changed. You can't break it down any further, at least in this kind of reality. An egregore is more of a collective agreement. Religions, governments, any institution where you kind of all get together and agree on a few set of ideas and beliefs, it becomes almost like it's its own entity, and then people are affected by it whether they're participating in it or not. And you can kind of distance yourself and detach yourself. In fact, John Dubuis, in his book, his alchemy book, he suggests the alchemists kind of disconnect as much as possible from any egregores that you can. Like you can't get out of the egregore created by your country. You know, that's something you're going to be influenced by, or even the state you live in. I live in Utah, and there's a significant feeling here that I can't seem to detach from, and it has a lot to do with work, go. It's like an anxiousness. It's fast. When I was in Florida, I would hang out in the during our downtime on the back porch, and it's like I had all this patience. I could just sit for a couple hours at a time. It seemed like in Utah, I can't even sit still. And I think it's influenced by the egregore. So you do create your own world, your own reality, and sometimes it's even just an organizing of things in your life differently, or from an alchemist point of view, you're transforming. Everything's always transforming, and we make choices that'll guide kind of how that transformation turns out. We never know exactly what it'll look like, but we, through our intentions and our actions, move it in the direction that, well, it's not even necessarily what we want. It could be being done by our programming or being influenced by egregores or other people, but we in essence do create our own reality, and you either are being affected by it, meaning you're the effect, or you're the cause. So if you're just making all your choices based on what people or organizations are doing around you, then you're going to create that reality. Or you can be the cause and think for yourself, disconnect as much as you can from some of the influences that try to control your lives. And if you really look around, everything is a big control. But this gives us another opportunity to take more responsibility. And if this bothers you a little bit, that you create your own world and you're thinking, why would I create this circumstances? I've been thinking that lately because there's so many things I want. I've got a lot of ambition. Some of that ambition is starting to wear down with my age, which I think is a good thing because then I can live more with purpose. But I think, really, did I create this situation? Like, why would I do that? Like, haven't I learned this lesson before? Do I really need to learn this more? Am I really choosing this? And I gotta be honest, sometimes I want to blame other things, I want to think, well, I wouldn't have done this, but it's because of this circumstance is why it's this way. In other words, the effect. One of the most obvious ways to acknowledge that you're blaming somebody else or that you're creating your reality based on effect is when you start to blame. You look for reasons that are outside of something that you did. So at least pretend that you create your own world and see how that works. If you don't feel comfortable accepting this principle, just pretend that it's true and experiment with it and see how it works for you. Because all of these principles are interesting possibilities, not beliefs, it's okay to put on a certain hat and try things out and see how it works. And if you find it to be truth or empowering, then you can keep it a little closer to the way in which you view the world. But it seems like most of the principles seem to come back with you taking responsibility for your own life. So that is this week's universal principle, and the affirmation for this principle is, I enjoy creating my world. So whatever it is you are creating, learn the lesson or whatever it is, but at least enjoy it. So I enjoy creating my own world. See you next time.